nkhani zenizeni. Ngati nkhani imeneyo kuno kulibe, dziwani kuti nkhani imeneyo ndi yabodza. Takulandirani ku AMTV Malawi kuchimake kwa nkhani zenizeni. Ngati nkhani imeneyo kuno kulibe, dziwani kuti nkhani imeneyo ndi yabodza. Takulandirani ku AMTV Malawi kuchimake kwa nkhani zenizeni. Ngati nkhani imeneyo kuno kulibe, dziwani kuti nkhani imeneyo ndi yabodza.
Retrieve the weather report so that we can cross-examine information that was made available to us. I want to go back to our witness this morning, Mr. Moyo. Do you have the copy of the weather report? Are you able to explain the discrepancies in your report and the weather report? Mr. Moyo, the most noticeable difference or the glaring issue here on the weather report is that you have reported that the visibility was 5 kilometers, and the weather report shows the visibility was 8 kilometers. Are you able to explain the anomaly or the difference?
Honorable Chair, I'm ready to explain to that. If you have seen this copy, it shows 08000, which is 1000 local time. So the weather normally changes at any time. This is an hourly report. As if you can see on top there, it says the weather report to air traffic control, which is every hour. But within or less than 5 minutes, you can have a change of weather, normally with Mzuzu scenario. So, in this report, it shows here that the wind was at 1506 knots and visibility was 8 kilometers, which is normal for an aircraft which is flying visual to land in Mzuzu. Though there was a drizzle. On the weather report there, the DZ means drizzle, and then the fog in the vicinity, which is VCFG. Now, the other determining factor, which is crucial again to air navigation, is the overcast, which was 7,000. Now, this aircraft was supposed to land at 10:02 local time, all right? This aircraft contacted me at 1012. So there is a difference of 10 minutes. Now, which means this weather report, which I was giving to the aircraft, after I had given them this report, that's why I had to say my observation, because it has changed. So I told him east, west, south, the visibility is now 5 kilometers. It was no longer in this form. It changed. So, Honorable Chair, I think in a simple term, that's what I can explain.
Members, are there any follow-up questions?
Yes. On the same. Yes.
But I will allow Dr. Kasangazi to proceed on the same matter before you go to another question, if you want to have a follow-up.
So we would like to get what you specifically told Keno Sambalova about the weather. The information that you gave him, specifically, what was it?
Specifically, I gave him both. I gave him what I was given by the meteorological department, the weather given to their traffic control, and I also gave him my observation at that particular time.
And what was your observation? Because I remember when we came to Mzuzu about 3 months ago, when this committee came to your office in Mzuzu about 3 months ago, your mic is on. You informed the committee that the weather in Mzuzu was so bad that you could not see the end of the runway. Was that what you informed Colonel Sambalova at 12 minutes past 10?
Thank you, Honorable. I did not inform him to say the weather is bad, I cannot see the end of the runway. My core duty is only to say or to give the information to the pilot. So what I gave him was the weather given by the meteorological office and then my observation. But I cannot say I have observed this according to the runway or this, because when I give him the information I have, he has to make a decision.
But do you confirm that when this committee traveled to your office in Mzuzu, you informed us that the weather was so bad on the day that you were unable to see the end of the runway? You confirm that?
I confirm.
Chair, that should be all from me.
We had Mwanza Central
Yeah.
at that time. Okay.
Thank you very much, Chair. There is a submission here from Mr. Moyo, but I think what he has just said now is not appearing in the submission. In the submission, there's only a mention of 5 kilometers visibility. And here he's now saying he told him the weather update given by the mate, and he also gave him his observation. But on his in his submission, there's no mention of the 8 kilometers. So I just want to find out if he's changing now, or maybe he forgot to put it in the submission. Did you forget maybe to indicate that you informed the late Captain Sambaropa that the visibility was 8 kilometers, but your observation was 5 kilometers, because that's not appearing in your report?
Thank you, Honorable Member for Mwanza Central. You have to take this in mind that this is a report which I was writing to my authorities. Now, in the report, I have to indicate what exactly was there at that particular time. That's why I didn't indicate the 8 kilometers in here. And to say that I maybe partly to say I indicated the report somewhere, I have said find the attached weather report. So I can comfortably say it was there, the 8 kilometers. But on the initial writing on the report, I didn't indicate, because what mattered most to me was the observation that at that time it was 5 kilometers.
All right, if it was your observation, Mr. Moyo, the runway, how many kilometers is the runway?
At that time, it was 1.5.
Right, it was 1.5 kilometers.
Correction, Honorable Chair, it was 1.3.
1.3 kilometers. And you just confirmed with I mean, you confirmed when Kasangazi asked you, or Kasangazi asked you to confirm if you told this committee that the weather was bad and you could not see the end of the runway, and you confirmed, right?
Correct.
But you told the pilot that it was 5 kilometers, visibility was 5 kilometers, yet you could not see the end of the runway, which is 1.2 kilometers. Is there a discrepancy maybe somewhere? 1.3 kilometers. Because if you're saying the runway is 1.3 kilometers, and you told this committee that the weather was bad, you could not see the end of the runway, which is 1.3 kilometers, but you told the pilot that visibility was 5 kilometers. And you're saying that was your observation. And again, your observation is that you could not see the end of the runway. Can you correct that information?
Thanks, Honorable Chair. Let me remind you that in the report, I have said that after 5 minutes, I tried to establish communication so that I should give him another update of the weather. So that's where it was not given to him, because I didn't establish the communication. The time I was trying to do that was to tell him that now the weather has deteriorated, that I cannot even see the end of the runway. So that's what I meant at that particular time.
Thank you very much. You informed the authorities at 11:20Z.
So, sorry, still on the issue of the weather. Does this mean that if you had told the pilot that visibility was 8 kilometers, the pilot would have proceeded to land? Or should we say that the pilots retained, they were not able to proceed to land because you told them it was 5 kilometers visibility?
On that issue, it is on the discretion of the pilot. That is why in the report I have indicated that when I gave him the visibility of the airport, he decided to go to Ekwendeni. At the same point, that's where we lost the communication, because he said, I have to go to Ekwendeni. In short, for the sake of the house, in Mzuzu, when the weather is very much bad, pilots opt to go to Ekwendeni because it's normally the weather is okay in Ekwendeni. And then it's like, because we don't have the navigational aids, if they can have a ground contact, they see the main road and they go by the treetop, following the road, and then they come on the base for the runway 17. And then they will tell you we have got the runway in sight, and they can land.
I'm with you. Yeah. So if you had told them that the weather, the visibility according to the weather report was 8 kilometers, was the pilot going to be able to land under visibility of 8 kilometers?
Under the visibility of 8 kilometers, landing is possible.
Thank you. I just wanted to establish that. Mansa, you still had the floor? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You have a follow-up on the weather? Okay. So, Mayani? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chair, for allowing the people of Delta Mayani to ask a question. My name is Avero Kafafa. Mr. Moyo, I just wanted to understand the weather that you were giving to the pilots, the weather condition, the visibility. Did I get you clearly that you said it was your opinion? I just want you to confirm.
Honorable Member, for for Desamayani, can you be clear with your question? Otherwise, I'm not getting it.
I just wanted you to confirm that the 5 kilometer visibility was your opinion and not based on the weather, the Met expert. I just wanted to make sure that you should put it clear.
Thanks, Honorable Member. I think I also said that the official weather report is what we get from the meteorological report, which you have a copy with you. But when things, you can see that this is not going well, that's when you consider telling the pilot, according to my observation, at this particular time, because you have to first of all explain to say, my observation at this particular time. The pilot knows that now it is the observation. The weather he got was this one, but now the current situation is this one. I hope it answers yours.
Chair, I just wanted to make sure that according to your protocols or your standards as operating an airdrome, which report is the pilot supposed to use? I just wanted, or did you put a disclaimer to the pilot that this is my observation, not what I have on my table from the Met experts?
Thanks, Honorable Member. I think you have to understand that I said the official is from the Meteorological Department, of which the copy you have on your table. And when I will repeat, when I say my observation, the pilot knows that this, what he's telling me now, is not from the meteorological office. And most of the times when you do that, the pilot makes, most of the times he becomes happy because he knows this time I'm getting the real thing which is happening at the aerodrome. Remember, the meteorological report that we get from the Met Office, we also know, we go through the training of this report. So it is there as well to say when you see that something is not going well, you can report. On the same ground, the meteorological report office can also issue what we call a space weather meteorological report, which means it can come not as usual per hour at any time when there is a change of weather. But before that, if that space is not in your office, that's why you specify to tell the pilot my observation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I know the observation tower for the air traffic control is high up there. Your house is always, their office is always very high up there. I know there might be some specific reasons why your office is placed there, whether it's all about the visibility or what, I don't know. But I just wanted you to make it very clear to this committee who is responsible and accountable for weather reports. If things go wrong on the weather issues, wrong reporting, whom should we ask? Should we ask the air traffic controller or the Met expert? But in considering that, I also want you to highlight to this committee, on the other hand, why is it that your office is always the tallest when we come to any airport? And is it part of your training also to say you can advise on the weather? Maybe the put is very clear. Otherwise, I want to know if it is an acceptable practice to give your opinion when it comes to weather. That's what I wanted to hear, Chair. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Honorable Member Ditsa Mayani. Let me start to say that the responsible person about the weather at the airport is the meteorological office, because they are the ones which gives the data to the air traffic control, and they assign for it, and the air traffic control again has to go through and sign again on it to say this is the correct thing. And then when it comes to within the hour, that's when you come in, because you are also trained about the weather. That's why even in normal circumstances, the pilot can ask you, what is your observation? Okay? He can even ask you, how do you look at Ekwendeni? So this time, this pilot is flying. You cannot go back to this meteorological office. And this answer I'm giving to you is going back to the second question. Okay, we have the tallest buildings at the airport, the tallest tower, of course. It is in line with the length of the runway, so that you should be able to see the end of each runway, or I should say the threshold of the runway. So that anything there, because if you are saying you are cleared to land, it means you are giving an official clearance to say, okay, the runway is clear. Anything happens, you are responsible. Suppose there is a stone, there is a dog. So you have to know everything on the runway, it is clear. So the authority to say cleared to land. I'll go back to the Honorable Chair when he was saying about air traffic control and the like. There are some of the issues of which some of the instructions are not given or they're not taken into account when you are doing aerodrome information. So that's one of the key things. I hope I have answered your question.
Does that clearance also on your side, does that clearance also involves weather? I wanted to make it very clear on your observation on weather. The dogs, the what is happening on the runway, no one will ask anyone apart from you. But I just wanted you to confirm that apart from what the Met experts have given to you, does that really mean that you also must clear about the weather? And can you confirm that it is part of your duty to also report your observations about the weather? Can you confirm, is it a practice? Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Member. About the weather, that's the prime thing. When you are clearing an aircraft to land, you have to know what is your air pressure. And the air pressure, you get it from the meteorological office. The air temperature as well. So that's where on your report, if you go down there, where it is written QNH, down there it is QMU. And in brackets down there, there is air temperature. Always a pilot acknowledges these figures, because you have to know I am going to be on the threshold which is at pressure of this type. And I cannot say or practice to say, according to my observation, the QNH is this. I cannot do that. This is primarily Met Office, because they are the ones who have got the equipment. The observation about the clouds and the like, because you can observe yourself in the control tower.
Okay, I just wanted us to buttress the point. So under visibility of 5 kilometers, can you just confirm, was the aircraft able to land or not? Just to confirm.
Thanks, Honorable Chair. I have got a reservation to that because that is at the discretion of the pilot in command.
Okay. You did allude at the beginning of the session that under 5 kilometers, 8 kilometers landing was going to be safe. 5 kilometers was not going to be safe. So you're now backtracking. But I just want to find out, indirectly, was this an instruction to the pilot not to land? When you told them your observation, were you indirectly telling them it's not safe here under 5 kilometer visibility? Is that the reason why they proceeded to go to Ikwendeni?
Honorable Chair, thanks very much. I think I should be very clear with you. I said 8 kilometers under visual flight rules is possible to land. And then when I talked about the 5 kilometers, this time it is not written anywhere in the ICAO books that something can happen, but with the ICAO books, with 8 kilometers, an aircraft can land, whether fixed, wing, or a helicopter, they can land. But with 5 kilometers, it's not clear. Therefore, when I give the weather to say 5 kilometers, I don't directly tell the pilot to say you can land or you cannot land. Because when I am done with the weather report, anything is at the discretion of the pilot in command.
Appreciate it. Yeah, Zomba City, and then...
Sorry, I'm not done, Chair.
On the weather.
Oh.
Unless it's a different patient, but I want us to exhaust the weather, because it was a turning point. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. Mr. Moyo, I'm just coming in for the sake of the question on the floor, but I'll come back later for my own questions. You've mentioned ICAO documents. Can you refer us to an ICAO clause which allows you, as an air traffic officer, to provide weather information to the crew?
Thanks very much, Honorable Member. At the moment, I don't have that document, but at a preferred time, I can always provide with you, because I was not prepared with that one.
Okay, maybe for the sake of the subsequent questions, please refer to something that you can, allude to something that you can refer to for the sake of the subsequent questions. That's my request. So, Chair, there is also something that is in the BFU report on page 40, requirements for meteorological office or service. I wanted Mr. Moyo also to confirm on this one. Under 9.2.1, it says briefing and or consultation shall be provided on request. I'm emphasizing on request to the flight crew, members, and or other flight operations personnel. Its purpose shall be to supply the latest available information on existing and expected meteorological conditions along the route to be flown at the aerodrome intended landing, alternate aerodromes, and other aerodromes as relevant. This is ICAO Annex 3 under 9.2.1. So I wanted you to emphasize on request, meaning the crew have to request Met experts for this information. So I wanted to also find out from you if you volunteered this information after being requested, or you just decided to give them the information before they had requested you. I submit, Chair.
Mr. Moyo?
Thanks very much, Honorable Deputy Chair. I think what you have to understand here is that we don't volunteer to do this. It is a must that we should give the weather report to any aircraft. So, there are times where pilots can ask you about the weather. As a person working in the control tower, you can give him what the meteorological office has given you. But then you have also to give the conditions of that particular time he is calling you. Because for the other hours or thereafter, it is the duty of the meteorological office. So, the weather en route we are talking about, or if we talk about what is written in the Annex 3 of the meteorological, en route, there are some bulletins which are done by the meteorological office. Let's say you are flying from here, let's say to Addis Ababa, you have to know the weather, how it is in the neighboring FIRs, like Dar es Salaam or Kapenguria or Nairobi. So it's something to do with that one, but it's not voluntarily. Thanks.
Okay. On the same, is there on weather? Because otherwise we're not going back to weather. We should be asking other questions. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I have a number of questions, and some will touch to weather.
So
I wanted to find out the direction from you.
The one who has the floor is Mwanza.
Yes.
Mwanza Central.
Yes, Sir Chair. But I wanted to ask your directions, because you're saying we need to touch again on weather.
Okay.
Should we all come now, or we should allow at our time to ask whatever we have? Of course, it might be to do with weather,
Yeah,
but
true.
it's going to other questions as well.
Yeah, fair comment. So we can open it.
Okay, fine.
Okay, but I just want to release the Mwanza Central so we can move to the next.
Thank you, Chair.
So can I release Mwanza Central? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much, Chair. So, Mr. Moyo, in your statement, you called again the pilot. But in your submission, you're saying the reason for calling was to check position and attitude. But there was no response. You have not indicated that you wanted to give him another update, because I'm very much interested with the statements that you made. So maybe you just forgot to include that element.
Can you read that paragraph?
Okay.
It's not there. I hope it is there.
No, let me read for you. It starts with AF88M contacted me at 0812Z and said there are 20 NM approaching the field from the north. I gave them QFY and runway in the use, which was the RWY 17. I also gave them my observation that east, south, and west of the field, visibility is 5 kilometers. And he immediately said, heading Ikwendeni area to see if it is clear. After 5 minutes, I tried to check position and attitude, but there was no response. After another 5 minutes, I tried to call, but no response. I therefore kept trying to establish communication, but no avail. Because the issue of you not seeing the end of the runway is a big issue, because the weather there, that time has deteriorated, and there is no way a plane can land when you, because that means that visibility now was below 1.3 kilometers. So your statement is not saying anything about that. Maybe you just forgot to include it. That's what I want to ask you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I think, to me, it is included. But maybe because this is almost like technical, you are not picking maybe what I was trying to say. If you look at what I said about south, east, south, and west of the field, all right? This means that this aircraft, I wanted to advise him that this time the weather has deteriorated. It's no longer at the 8 kilometers that I gave you from the Weather Meteorological Office. So on that point, I think you have to be very clear. I think
no, that's okay, Chair, on that one. We had the Mrs. Yesterday, Chavunguma. Miss Chavunguma. She was the officer in charge, mate. And she said in between their reporting time, because they said, she said they report hourly. And if something happens or weather changes in between, and the weather is bad, they issue space. And you also mentioned it. Bearing in mind that visibility, in your case, in your observation, was below 1.3 kilometers. Did the Met Department issue space that particular day?
okay. On that particular day, a space was not issued. And you could also check at the timings. I said this weather report was at 0800. Now I was in contact with the aircraft at 0812. The difference there was too short. So a space was not provided.
No, I understand. 12 minutes was short. But what I'm asking is, because there was low visibility, as low as less than 1.3 kilometers per your presentation. So my question is not about 12 past 10. My question is, did Met issue space on that particular day, whether at 10:30, at 10:45, at 10:20? Because Ms. Chavunguma here said, if weather changes and the conditions are bad, they issue space, even if it's before the reporting time. That's what she said yesterday. So my question is, did they issue space? And you've responded, they didn't. Where I'm driving at is, was there kind of misreporting from Met? Because when they reported here, she gave us time. She said she gave us weather conditions from 400 GMT up to 800 GMT. But the time that you were reporting, their indication is that the weather had improved. Because she said here that at 10 a.m. local time, there was a slight improvement. So visibility was at 9 kilometers. Yeah, visibility was at 9 kilometers. And at 11 a.m., visibility went back to 8 kilometers. But you are saying at 10:15, visibility was 5 kilometers. And 5 minutes later, which is 20 past 10, visibility was less than 1.3 kilometers. So we are asking you because this information is very important and we need to establish facts. That's why we are asking too many questions on weather. So I think we've made the point. I can proceed, Chair.
Yeah, you may proceed now.
Yes. At 11:20 Z, I assume that's 20 past 12 local time. Is that correct? In your statement, you've said at 11:20, 20 past. That is 20 past 1 local time. You informed authorities to to activate search and rescue. Which authorities did you inform? Can you recall who exactly did you inform? The authorities that you communicated to.
I think I have written the names on that paragraph.
You are talking of the commanding officer of Moyale Barracks, the police north, and the airport police officer in charge, Mr. Simango. Is that, are they the only ones that you informed?
Not like that, Honorable.
Okay.
I have also indicated about the airport commandant, Kwamos International Airport, and the air navigation manager, Mr. Chisepea.